Hello and welcome to a modern video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the lone card that we were able to rescue from Dominaria United, and that is Karn's Sylex. So this is a very interesting card that obviously works with Karn, the great creator, in a pretty convenient manner. But it's very interesting, so let's check it out. So first, it enters the battlefield tapped. It's a legendary artifact for 3 mana, and players can't pay life to cast spells or to activate abilities that aren't mana abilities. Then it has an activate ability of X, and tap this, you exile it, you destroy each non-land permanent with mana value X or less, you activate only as a sorcery. So there's a lot to unpack here. First of all, players can't pay life to cast spells or activate abilities. That means that fetch lands are turned off. It also means that cards like Yawgmoth, relevant in the modern format, cards like Yawgmoth are effectively not, they don't do anything anymore, so it stops the Yawgmoth combo just by being in play. It also, again, stops fetch lands and stuff like that. Not very many relevant abilities in the format that require life, so it's not super interesting in that sense. But it has an X ability, which is effectively Pernicious Deed. You destroy each normal permanent. Of note, couple of things. It exiles itself, which means that you can get it with Karn, you activate it, and then you can get it again without needing to exile it, because it just exiles itself. It does that for you. It also it destroys a non-land permanent, so that is planeswalkers, that is anything like that, enchantments, artifacts, whatever. And the big issue, which it's what is particularly worrisome for me, is that you can only activate this as a sorcery. These sort of effects is like the whole point is that you can do this at instant speed. What that does is it gives you a lot of agency over the dynamic of the game. For example, if you pass the turn against Hammer with an Explosives on 1 in play, you get to dictate how that game is going to play out, right? Like your opponent's not going to have that much agency. They can only like play into the Explosives or pass the turn basically, but there's not too much that they can do. So what that means is that it gives you a lot of agency over what your opponent can and can't do, and it stops you from dying. The same is not true for Karn's Sylex. Like if your opponent has a board state, right? Like, and they know that the Sylex is coming, you play the Sylex and it just sits there. If eventually you're going to be forced into cracking it, and then because you're doing that on your main phase, you're tapped out, so you probably can't do much else unless you're playing against Hammer and then you only tapped 1 mana. Maybe you can do some more stuff after that, but it blows up stuff like your own amulets and whatnot. But also your opponent, once they know there's a Sylex in play, they can like sandbag, for example, the Seaguard, the Sade, and the Hammer, and then you activate the Sylex, and then your opponent activates Ringmount X's on their following turn, and they play Aid and they play Hammer, and you're dead anyway. So it particularly matters against decks that kill you out of nowhere, like Hammer, and stuff like Boggles and whatnot. So because of that, I'm not super high on this card, but again, like, it's the only card from the new set that we can actually use in a profitable way, so we're gonna give it a shot and see how it feels. This is the Karn list that I've been playing for a while. I don't think anything has changed in the format, so I'm still very high on this list specifically, with the crazies in the board and everything. So yeah, this is not the first time that you're going to be seeing the list, but it's the first time that we are going to be seeing Karn Sylex in action. So let's find out how good this actually is. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Leave a comment down below if you are digging it, and if you're not, also leave a comment down below and tell me why, because I'm always looking to improve my content. And speaking of, if you're interested in supporting this content, you can do so through Patreon, you can do so through donations, and I can play any deck list of your choosing whenever you donate $25 or more. And finally, you can support it by booking coaching sessions. All information you can find in the description of the video down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you for round number 1. Okay, round number 1 is here, and this hand is a little bit of a trap. Too many Primeval Titans, not enough mana to cast them. Not where you want to be. This hand is significantly better. So we get to keep this and bottom Valakut. So we can go turn 1 Saga, play Amulet, turn 2 Basic Forest. On turn 3 we're going to have access to double Amulet, which is nice. And if we find almost anything, we're going to be looking pretty good. Noble Hierarch on turn Maybe that should have changed my play, actually. Yeah, I should have stopped to like reassess, but now I can't. I guess I can find like a green bounce land or Crumbling Vestige, and I can cast Dryad on 2. But yeah, I should have definitely stopped to reassess. I was like a little bit tunnel vision, so don't learn from me. Is this band Spirits? Because if it is, that's sick. Either Channeler. So this bounces Amulet. You cannot. Oh, they draw a card. Wow, opponent's so greedy. Really? I don't think you wanted to draw a card there. I think you wanted to bounce my Amulet, but sure. What do I know? What do I know? So they're gonna company here. Oh, this is probably the Spike deck. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, so here's an Amulet. Here is a bounce land. And we're gonna play Dryad because it forces the hand on my opponent. Let's actually not float the mana just yet. I don't really have to. 1, 2, 3. Really? Nothing? So now I am gonna float the mana, I guess, and go for prime time. Huh. Kind of interesting. So we're gonna leave blue floating here. And I'm just gonna get... They're gonna company here. Fetching for a basic. Our opponent taps their mana. Here's Collected Company. Let's see what they find. They wanna find Channeler to bounce? There's no way. It's not very good. I don't think my opponent has a complete grasp over how dead they are here. If they're gonna bounce something, it should be Amulet of Vigor. They return Dryad. Yeah, that's not it. So we can get another. I already used my extra land drop, so that doesn't really do anything. And I can get double Growth Chamber, but then I don't develop my mana. I kind of do want to develop my mana. So let's get Growth Chamber and Boseiju, I guess. Let's get actually Balakut. Balakut seems more relevant. And then this can also allow me to haste one of the 2 Titans. I'm not going to be able to haste both, but I am going to be able to haste one of them. Actually, no, I don't. Oh, okay, they just conceded. Well, they were not dead. Like, they did not know that I had Boros Garrison in hand, so they shouldn't have conceded, but sure, whatever. This does look like the Spike Collected Company deck, so I'm gonna keep Karn. Like, it's not insane or anything, but it's like okay. Karn is fine. They probably don't have a way to Magus me or anything like that. We don't have removal though. We don't have removal for Medley Mage style cards, so we're gonna have to watch out for that, and that's why I'm bringing in the Hydroid Crazy. Hydroid Crazy. There we go. We'll figure it out. I think this is fine. Bojukibog is like randomly relevant against their Eternal Witness things. I could see cutting 1 Saga for the basic island. The reason for that is that the game is going to go long more than anything else, so Steve is probably going to run out of fetchables. And they're going to have stuff like Night of Autumn. What do we got here? Double Karn. Yeah, okay, let's keep this. So we can go turn 1 Valakut, turn 2 Steven, turn 3 Karn or Dryad. Oddly enough, the Sylex is probably going to be pretty great here. Okay. I'm still going to go with Boseiju, because Vestige has more value down the line. I wonder if my opponent's playing Mind Sensor. I'm not going to play around it, but it would be hilarious if they did. Attack for 1, I can beat, I think. I think I can beat an attack for 1. I'll block. I will block. Ooh, what? Opponent has no place? So unlucky. Opponent's got no place whatsoever. I think I'm gonna go for Karn here, actually. And that's because I drew a bounce. So like next turn I can set up things so I can Dryad. I can Dryad plus get one trigger from Valakut, so seems worth doing. I'm just gonna minus for Sylex. This is some poor timing from my opponent. The Collected Company, they should, like, they're giving me the information of what they're gonna draw. Funny enough, if my opponent has like an Aether Channeler and they bounce my Karn for whatever reason, then I'm gonna get Liquid Metal Coating instead of Sylex. But I'm gonna get Sylex. Yeah, Sylex actually looking pretty hot here. Looking pretty hot. Pretty good. Medley Mage. One doesn't even know what to name here. They name Primeval Titan. No. Okay. Say yes. We're gonna get Karn Sylex and pass the turn. So next turn we're gonna be able to go Bojuka Bog into Dryad Growth Chamber. And then Growth Chamber is probably gonna bounce Crumbling Vestige. Wall of Omens. Because I definitely want to be able to play Sylex, and oh, I guess we can't activate it immediately unless we find an amulet. A little bit awkward. Blanking Fetches is not nothing though. Soulherder. That's what we're gonna be killing. Okay, so take 2, kill Karn. Seems good. Probably gonna blink Wall. So opponent hand can have access to Solitude here, or technically Force of Negation. Alright, so there's that. Here's this. And you don't have Solitude. You don't. Excellent. I think I'm gonna go for this. Because this gives me access to 7 mana next turn if I want. Best draw is Amulet, awkwardly enough. Because it allows me to Sylex and chill. Can't cast Prime Time. Soulherder kills my Dryad, or just Prismatic Ending. That's fine. Gonna take 6 here. Now we're gonna be able to Sylex, Karn into Sylex if I want to. Sage doesn't really do anything. What else can we find? Gonna get Boat. We can get Boat. Does Boat matter? I guess so. So let's minus for Boat. I could have also minused for Engineered Explosives. I still don't have Primeval Titan in hand though, so my hope here is that I am forcing my opponent to care about things that I don't. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to have my opponent do things in order to answer all of these random cards that I don't really care that much about, because I'm getting value from them on the way out. Sure. It's kind of annoying, but like now next Karn can get it. I'm gonna have to probably play out the Sky Sovereign. Soulherder. Yeah, I don't know about that. Opponent should have probably just held on to the Prismatic Ending. Like if they just hold on to the Prismatic Ending, they can just blink this and it goes to the graveyard as opposed to going to exile, so I can't get it back. Not that it really matters, but okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sky Sovereign, kill Soulherder because that's too much value, and I'm gonna play a land and say go. So next turn we can actually Karn plus on Sky Sovereign, and Sky Sovereign attacks, killing Knight of Autumn. Weird play, but could potentially be relevant. Or if I draw Prime Time, obviously we just kill this. So take 6, down to 3. If they have Soulherder, we're probably dead. Eternal Witness. That's worse than Soulherder. Well, actually, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So I guess I can Karn for explosives and explosives for 3. But then I died to the Medley Mage because I'm at 3. That sucks. I mean, we do win. Wow, they just... Okay. So if we find the Dryad, we actually win. Like, I just blow up my opponent's board. It's not a good draw. We can Karn for explosives and crack it, but then we die to Medley Mage. Karn plus here, but then we die on the crackback. Yeah, we're just dead. Alright. Kind of brutal there. Alright. This looks good. I think we go again. Maybe I want Radiant Fountain over Karn of Souls. Over Boseiju, actually. No, actually Boseiju tapping for colored mana is nice. Maybe over the basic island. Huh. Interesting hand. Slow. But very, very interesting. I think I'm gonna keep it. So, I'm gonna gain some life. We're gonna be able to Pact for Dryad on 3. If they don't have a 1-drop, ooh, this is great. Awesome. Yeah, so let's go. I'm still pacting for Dryad. I could pact for Azusa. Azusa, yeah, but it doesn't matter because it guarantees primetime mana, but like I can't cast the primetime because I'm gonna be stuck paying for pact, so I'd rather keep the more impactful card instead. It's bad against Knight of Autumn, which my opponent did show me though. Oh, 2 mana? That has to be an Ice Fang, right? It's gotta be Ice Fang. It's gotta be Ice Fang. Means I can't play this out. There's no way they have like any form of counter mana. Even if this Dryad dies, we still can pay for pact, so it's fine. And if it doesn't die, then we are a very heavy favorite. So yeah, they need to get like Knight of Autumn or something like that going. They could have Damping Sphere, I guess. And I lose to that, but sure. That means my Dryad doesn't die. Now the question is, do I go double Saga? I think I do. Name Primetime. White. The hell does white mean there? Path? There's no way they have Path to Exile, right? There's no way they have Path. No way at all. Never gonna play around it. That's funny. Yeah. Basic Forest. Into Ursa Saga? Oh, and I think I'm just gonna have Vesuva copy the Saga. So play Vesuva, copy Saga, and we're serving, baby. We are gaining there for 2. So now next turn I get to Pact for Crazy if I want to, or I can just make some constructs. I think I'm just gonna be making some constructs. It's bad against Deputy, but then I can just... Oh, okay. Pichin Soulherder. Oh, they have Ephemerate. That's why. Okay. So I guess we're gonna be pacting for Crazes. I can just make some constructs. Making constructs makes my opponent's life pretty rough. You get to draw a card on the way out. I'm gonna take 5. Noble Hierarch. Okay. I wonder if they should just attack with Solitude just so they gain 1 more life. You can do that next turn. There's Expedition map. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I'm gonna play the map because it makes my dudes into 3/3s. And then I'm just gonna double activate Saga here. Next turn we're gonna have a lot of mana if we want. Ephemerate, Ice Fang. So I'm assuming that they have 1 more Ephemerate. Otherwise it's just too much value to save the Ephemerate for Solitude. Like, it's just such a good insurance policy that they effectively can't lose. So now they don't have attacks, which is nice. Wait, what? Okay, 16. I'm gonna be down here. These constructs are feeling frisky. Sure, they could have Deputy of Detention. That would be very bad for me, but I feel like these constructs need to get in there, you know? It is a pretty significant amount of pressure, honestly. These are gonna be 7/7s? That's a lot. Deputy of Detention stops this, but if they don't find Deputy, these are gonna end the game pretty quickly. Opponents get Solitude. These are still 6/6s even if they have Solitude. And if they're just hard casting a Solitude here. Okay. Please don't Deputy me, bro. Please don't Deputy me. Okay, that's fine. I mean, it's pretty good, but it's beatable. I can beat that. Take 14. We low-key really need this Expedition map to not be destroyed. We low-key really need this card. My opponent doesn't know that, but yeah, we were kind of... It would be awesome if this Expedition map survived. Don't Deputy me, bro. Yeah, so this kills the constructs, and now takes care of the Amulet. So I think we just lose now. This is the only card that beats that play. But it beats it. But it really beats it. Is there anything I can do now? So I guess I'm gonna need... So that's gonna exile the amulets. Growth chamber. So, I mean, I'm out of gas. Because I can get Valakut, play Dryad, and this does kill the deputy, and then get back my amulets, but I'm out of land drops now. So I'm chump blocking the Soulherder. I'm assuming my opponent has no cards in hand that do anything. They have 5 lands in hand. So we're going to chump Soulherder, then we take 5, and then go to 1, and then we pact for Dryad. We play Dryad, bounce land, float a bunch of mana, kill melee mage. Should have attacked with everything. This were a free attack. Like this is a forced chump, so. Again, debited attention, we can't beat. Many things that we just cannot beat. Ephemerate we can't beat. Another Solitude we can't beat. Time Warp. Also we can't beat that. Alright. See you for the next round. Round number 2. Let's see what's up. Yeah. Skip this hand. We can go turn 1 Boseiju into Gracer. Or we can go turn 1 Boseiju into Bounce Land, which sets me up to go turn 2 Growth Chamber. Turn 2 Dryad into Ursa Saga, which is very nice. I think because I'm pretty heavy on bounce lands, that's gonna be my play. Well, now we can actually do both, so let's do that. So we just go for Saga here. In that, a Triumph could mean the Calibrated Blast deck, or maybe this is just like a fair deck of sorts. Could be that for sure. Okay, so do I want to go around making constructs, or do I want to play a Dryad? I think I'm just going to Cavern on Giant, play Dryad, and bounce my Boseiju. I don't know what my opponent is doing, so I don't know if this is safe attack. It may be correct in this specific scenario to chill with the Gracer, you know. So my opponent could just be playing some sort of discard spell deck also. So that's another reason to hold on to play out the Dryad. Let's make a construct. And I'm just going to play out the Get an Expedition map here. Play this out. And play this, bounce Boseiju. Still don't know what we're playing against. But I'm going to crack this map right now for Tolera West. Tolera West obviously safe from discard spells, and it's going to lead me to Primeval Titan, which is the best thing in the world. Still no idea what I'm up against. Okay, so not the Calibrated Blast deck. Confirmed not the Calibrated Blast deck, because they have Fatal Push. So maybe it's an Abzan Garbo. Oh no, opponent, don't play a Liliana of the Veil. How could I ever beat Liliana of the Veil? Grace the Hunger Tide. Actually, that's better than Liliana by a significant amount. I could get Valakut, but because all my lands are bounce lands, it doesn't really do anything. It's a little bit awkward. Grist is very good here, though, so that's going to be able to clear my Dryad. The thing is that if the Grist does take 2, that means that it's going to have to die in order to kill the Dryad. And okay, so we're going to be able to play Azusa and make a lot of mana here. So Cavern on Advisor, play another bounce land, and it's going to be my last play. So because this is 9 mana, I can... Because what I don't want to do is I don't want to transmute that my opponent thought seizes my Summoner's Pact. So by doing this, I set it up in such a way where I can transmute and cast Titan in the same turn. And that should be enough to win. Particularly if they tap out. Like, if they tap out, the game is over. Unless they also kill the Dryad in the process. But yeah, that missed land drop was probably too much for my opponent to come back from. Lingering Souls. That's gonna allows Grizz to kill the Dryad, so... Man, I had not seen Lingering Souls in so long. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful. So I can't haste here. So let's attack. Play land. Transmute. Summoner's Pact. Summoner's Pact for Primeval Titan. Actually, maybe there was a line for me to haste, actually, now that I think about it. Because I have Azusa and I have Crumbling Vestige in my deck. Huh. Well, my bad. My bad. So we're just gonna chill on these lands now. Play around Liliana Plus. Opponent can't minus Grist. And now they have to deal with a 6/6. And I can start hasting tokens. That's why, because I naturally drew the Saga, that means that I actually can go ahead and get Stronghold and Valakut, because I already have a white source, and this means that I can start pumping out tokens and pressuring my opponent's life total. My opponent seems to just be on Abzan midrange. Straight up. Yep. Indeed. Alright. you got my Aurora Gracer, opponent. You got me. Smallpox. Wow. Wow. I did not see that coming. I can tell you as much. I definitely did not see that coming. Pay for my pact. Oh, look, another card my opponent can't beat. Excellent. So we swing at Grist. Get Bojugabog. Yeah, they have Seer cards in hand. Just gonna get another Saga. Bojugabog, Saga. Grist down. Now the question is, do I play Big Papa Karn? Yeah, we're just gonna play Karn. And minus for coding. This is definitely a minus for coding scenario that we find ourselves in. And you can make me discard. You can make me discard my Bojugabog if you want. Upkeep, tap your Triumph. I mean, I guess not tap it, but like make it useless. So their best draw is Smallpox, and they still lose. 1 damage to the Karn. Resolves. Alright. So this just delays the unavoidable. It's a little bit sad in a way. It's a little bit sad, except it's not, but it's a little bit sad. Here's an Amulet, and there's a land, and now there is not. Let's haste this. Mana goes to waste. Oh no. So this allows me to actually go for the flawless victory, which is great. I'm gonna name Aetherborn for this Cavern of Souls. Yeah, it was Cavern of Souls on Aetherborn that made it. I love how my opponent like took the draw step. They're just like, if only I draw. If only I draw this. I'm still in this. So I want Graces. Karn looks fantastic. I could see Endurance being pretty good. Gracer seems decent. Caverns can go. Maybe. Maybe. I mean, being able to stabilize at a low life total is probably fine. So let's keep Radiant Fountain, cut a couple of Summoner's Pacts, and maybe cut a Gracer. I think I'd rather have Endurance than Gracer. Maybe Steve is bad. Maybe Steve is not good enough. His hand's okay. Keep it. So turn 1 Gracer into Ursa Saga, not the worst. I could also go turn 1 Saga into Amulet, but I think that the construct tokens are gonna matter in the Smallpox matchup. Maybe my opponent has their own engineered explosives or something, but oof, that's a pretty good draw. Pretty decent draw. Are you gonna mana type me? Oh, I'm kind of excited about this. Ugh. Lame. It's so lame. So they can't Flagstones here. Kataki Worse Wage. Sounds good. So I'm just gonna Vesuva their Triumph here and play Steve. I don't think I wanted to play the Amulet there, because I think Amulet is what I'm gonna be discarding if they have like Liliana or something like that. So the only thing that Kataki does is it makes my game plan a little bit more awkward, like because I was planning on doing the construct thing and now I can't. So it does make that a little bit awkward. Nice. So I think I'm just gonna go for Expedition. Play this. And let's play Karn. And I think I'm playing out the Amulet mostly as bait. And then I guess I can just plus on the Amulet. Yeah, this is great. So now Gracer blocks Spirit Token or Kataki, whatever's better. If my opponent wants to block, that's fine. So they can push though, which is a little bit annoying. Like Smallpox right here would be a little bit annoying. If opponent poxes, I probably have to sack Gracer, discard this, and sack the island, which is not necessarily what I want to do, but it is what I would have to. Oh, Kaya. Oh, that's terrifying. Literally exile anything from my deck. That's pretty funny. Really? Not attacking with Kataki? Opponent passes. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna pay you one. Just to have the option. Just to have the information. Yeah. So now we know that we have this. I still... I could attack. That is too funny. That is way too funny not to do. Man, this sucks. I'm gonna have to do it because it's just way too funny. I could engineer explosives for 0. I could liquid coding. And if I coding, I can coding there. So that's probably the play. And I can just make a construct. I think I'm just gonna plus on Expedition map and just pass the turn. Like I'm gonna get one shot of this Amulet, and that one shot is probably gonna be enough. Also, this Karn just plussing and plussing and just getting further out of reach. I love Karn. Exile target non-land. It's almost as if this attacked, except my opponent didn't get 2+. Let's get a Growth Chamber. Ashiok or Bust? I think Ashiok is literally the only card that matters at this point. Mind Sensor, I guess. Spirit Tokens don't matter. Yeah, that definitely doesn't matter. So discard Island, sack Forest. Karn just got so much value. It's beautiful. Ain't it beautiful? So float mana, get Amulet, play Bounce Land. This is gonna be 6 mana. Gonna bounce, try it. Yes. Borders Garrison, Slayer Stronghold. We're not gonna get to play out the Dryad, unfortunately. But I am interested in finding Bounce Land here so that I have more mana and I can actually have... I want to have protection from Liliana, basically, which is going to be this Dryad. I could minus Karn for value. I think I'm gonna. Just get Boat, I think. Yeah, Boat is fine. And play out Slayer Stronghold past turn. So my opponent only is going to be drawing 1 card. There's no 1 card that can save them. So Grist into Fatal Push. And then what that does is just means that my opponent's going to take longer to lose. Break the Ice. So this would be 2 mana, destroy target Slayer Stronghold. Not quite. It's unfortunate. Like I used to be a pretty big fan of decks like this. I think that they're very interesting. Like they fight on an axis that I find kind of it's very interesting to me. Like the axis that they are fighting on, it's so unique, but they're not playable anymore, unfortunately. Like your opponent plays a Ren in 6 and like your entire deck doesn't function anymore, right? So there's just like too many cards that are too much of a threat to the point where you just like your deck just doesn't function anymore, right? Like the strategy that they're trying to put together is to deny people's resources, and then your opponent for 2 mana can just get an overwhelming amount of resources that you can that just completely all of your little synergies and like the value that you accrue is just pointless. So very sad that this deck is not a thing anymore. But yeah, see you next round. Ooh baby, playing against MHayashi, and I'm gonna keep this hand. So we can go turn 1 Cavern Beast and play Amulet, force my opponent to have the Force of Negation. They don't. I'm assuming they're a mono blue. Okay, they're a mono red. They're mono something. That is just the MHayashi way. Just mono something. So I can turn 2 a Karn here. Effectively cost my opponent a land drop. I think that's fine. I am scared of Blood Moon. I have to assume that my opponent's gonna be playing some amount of Blood Moon effects. So we're just gonna Karn and plus. Next turn I get to resolve Dryad. Maybe I should have played Dryad on 2 and then guarantee. Never mind. So this is just lethal. 1, 2, 3. Just gonna Pact for Grazer. Just gonna be enough to kill my opponent. Opponent could have double Lightning Bolt, I guess, and then I lose. So let's think about this for a second. Let's assume, like, worst case scenario, my opponent has exactly double Lightning Bolt and they kill this. So the worst case scenario is they have double bolt, they untap, land into Blood Moon, and then I actually just lose. But if is there a way that I can play around double Lightning Bolt if they don't have Blood Moon? So I can get Slayer's Stronghold plus Boseiju, or like Slayer's Stronghold plus basic Mountain, then basic Forest, sorry, and that untaps the basic Forest twice, then I attack Sunhome, double strike, and I have the mana, so I think that's the line. Here's this, red, white, haste, and now if they have double Lightning Bolt, we do lose. Looks like they don't. And we're just gonna get Boros Garrison and activate there, and then activate there. So if they do have double bolt, they kill here, and if they untap Blood Moon, we lose. But played around at least the double bolt. Okay, so we're playing against not your average mono red deck. We're actually playing around a very weird mono red deck that has like 8 Blood Moon effects and stuff like that. It's a very, very unique archetype that is built by my opponent, MHayashi, known for playing this sort of weird off the wall strategies. We're gonna be on the draw, so I think that I'd rather cut a bunch of my sagas. And I'm just gonna go for an anti-Blood Moon strategy, I guess. The question is, do I want the forces or not? I think that I don't want the forces. I think I'd rather have sagas than forces. Yeah, this looks kind of fine. We do have a basic forest. We do have a Grazer to block an Ragavan. We do have lands. I am basically assuming that I'm going to be facing a Blood at some point this game. So having access to a main deck, oof, that's a good one. Cavern on Beast. I'm gonna play Cavern of Souls next turn. Experimental Synthesizer. Wow. that, yeah. So I guess they're not playing Blood Moon, because like Ghost Quarter plus Blood Moon is not the best combo I've ever seen. Field of Ruin. But they are playing Blood Moon. I am very confused. Alright, whatever. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pass the turn here. And we're gonna Bossage you on my opponent's end step. Then we're gonna untap and we're gonna slam the prime time. If they do have another moon effect, that's bad for us, but okay, that's not a moon effect. Braid is a dead card. So thank you for ramping me, opponent. Appreciate you ramping me. Hey. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, I'm gonna play this out because I can mostly. We already have Summoner's back, so I think that I can just go for haste here. Slayer Stronghold. Opponent could again have double Lightning Bolt. If they do, c'est la vie. They don't. Sweet. So we swing. Definitely gonna get another basic. I think I just get 2 basics. Just call it a day. And then we can just pact for Crisis. Pay for pact. Opponent still dealing with a Primeval Titan. Yeah, Ghost Quarter, Field of Ruin, and Blood Moon are maybe it's a sign that we may have gone a little bit too deep. We may have gone a little bit too deep, or not deep enough if you are MHayashi though. We'll block with our Border Race. I have no idea what to expect from my opponent's deck, so that I don't know, that could have been anything. Oh, there we go. Feeling very smart right now. Now they're gonna bolt. No bolt. Yikes. Good old boring Dryad kill. Boo. Boo me. Boo me. White. Boo me with my boring Dryad kill. Sage you. Kill that. Kill that. And kill your face. And GG's. Yes, always yes, always. Alright. See you next time. Alright, Kaheera, the most brutal companion. Keep this though. This hand's great. But yeah, this is kind of a brutal companion because like it can be so many different things. Like my opponent could be on blue-white, they could be on Belcher. Turns out they're on blue-white. Turns out they are on blue-white. So I think I'm going for Amulet here. I'm probably gonna have to hope that I eventually find. I'm gonna have to hope that I eventually find a Cavern of Souls. But I think that not playing Karn here just sets me back a little bit too much and allows my opponent to like hold up counterspell next turn. If they do Prismatic Ending here, I get to pact for Dryad, which is nice. Oh, green. Weird. But they're not playing Ice Fang. That doesn't make too much sense to me. Well, gonna pact for Dryad. Dryad of the Legion Grove. Here's a Dryad. And here's an Amulet. So they can't have Snapcaster Mage, so I'm not gonna play around Prismatic Ending number 3, right? But they just put so much pressure on them. Honestly, there's an argument for pacting for Azusa, even. There's an argument for pacting for Azusa, even. It's very nice. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna do this. And I think I'm gonna just bounce here. Bounce my forest. And just attack. See what my opponent does. They can't have Ice Fang. And Ice Fang would not have Death Touch. And now second main. We play Karn. So my opponent needs to counter this. That's very nice. So that means that they don't draw 2. If we find Cavern of Souls, we win the game. So that's very nice. So 2. Now here's the moment in question, right? Like, do I slam Primetime here? I think I'm gonna wait one more turn. Oh, they have Deluge. That's bad. So Deluge or Archmage's Charm draw 2 are reasons to play Primeval Titan there. The thing is that we have 4 Cavernous Souls, we have Expedition Map, we have all of these different ways of finding Cavernous Souls that force my opponent to use a card. So because we have so many looks at those, I think it's correct to just like pass a turn and see if we get lucky. Turns out that I draw the absolute worst draw in my entire deck, so that doesn't help. Next turn, I think I am actually going to play a Primeval Titan, because otherwise my opponent gets to Flashback Deluge, and that's obviously very bad. Here they are getting some value. They're actually casting Deluge. Interesting. Okay. I guess that makes sense. Growth Spiral. Oh, is my opponent playing? Oh no. If they're playing the 4-mana enchantment, that's pretty bad for us. Okay, swing. 2. Play Steve, which is almost out of legal targets. That's the turn. So we're getting to the point where things are bad. We're getting to the point where things are bad. My opponent, it's actually, I think they're ahead right now. So we're gonna need to get tricky to win this one. Like we're gonna need to draw like a natural Valakut, for example, can allow me to just like win this game out of nowhere. Wilderness Reclamation, yep, that's a problem. So yeah, this is really bad. Like Reclamation just makes their deck so much better against ours, because it gives them so much mana to work with. I wonder what's the point of the Abandoned Growth. That doesn't make too much sense to me. So they are playing the Deluge back, but they can't play the thing this turn at least. So I have to assume by this point they found Solitude. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to use both of my land drops here, and I'm going to play Karn. Just want to guarantee that I have all the mana from Dryad. Play Karn, force my opponent to use some mana. Now we swing for 3, and we Growth Spiral. Okay. So opponent's down to 4, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to actually deal the remaining last 4 points of damage. Man, 17 cards deep, and we found 3 of our basics before we were able to find a single Cavern of Souls. Sure. Using mana on main phase is good for me, but I assume at this point they found Nexus. Another Reclamation. Okay. Ending the Dryad. Yep. Okay. And 4 cards in hand. It's a lot of cards. But somehow less than I would expect my opponent to have. Funnily enough. Okay, so they activate Castle. Float more mana. And now what? Castle again? Solitude. Okay, so at least they have 1 more Solitude in hand, I'm assuming. So the good thing now is I get to F6, so that's value. So at least this prevents them from gaining life, I guess. Not activate Castle. Weird. Kaheera to hand. Play Kaheera. Block. Sack. Got him. It's actually wild the amount of dead cards that we have in the deck still. We do have a lot of dead cards still. Opponent draws 2 with Archmage's Charm. Interesting. So they drew 2 before activating Castle? That's got to be a mistake. I think that's it. That's the turning point. Like that turn was the turning point. So just gonna slam this Primeval Titan right here and just concede the game. Move on to the next one. Okay, so basic island is fine. Crisis, Endurances. I want to cut at least 2 Gracers and 1 Steve, 1 Summoner's Pact, and I think Karn is good. It's possible they have Force of Vigor, so maybe I should be cutting 1 Ursa Saga, but in the past, in control matchups, I used to cut Sunhome, but I don't think we can really do that anymore. Like, the control decks now go so over the top that I don't think that you can afford to not kill them if you can kill them. Boseiju can blow up their enchantment, so maybe it's okay. Karisaga. Okay, let's see if we can do better now. Sure. Really hoping that this amulet can get there. That's good. All right. So now we get to go turn to Dryad. Crisis is not bad. Play Dryad, play this. If they do have Prismatic Ending now, it's a little bit awkward, but if they ending the Amulet, they don't kill the Dryad, so... Okay, so... We can just Crisis for 3, or I can just develop my mana. I think I'm just gonna develop my mana and play Karn. They can counter the Karn if they want, but I don't care that much about Karn. Also, this time around, like, Valakut can put pressure just by being there, which is nice. This coming turn, we're going to be able to Crisis for 3? Okay. Continue developing my mana or draw one more card. I think I'm going to draw one more card. So, just cast Crisis here. X equals 6. You can counter the 6/6, which you kind of have to, but we still draw 3 in the process. Swing. Stride has been doing a lot of work. Combination with this amulet. Okay, there's Reclamation, which is not the end of the world. Still have yet to find. Nice, that resolved. Have yet to find the Cavern of Souls somehow. So let's get Liquid Metal Coating here, and let's bounce and play Coating. Swing. Now we're just gonna upkeep Coating their land. Probably that land, the one that taps for every mana. We do have a lot of stuff this time around, which is nice. Otawara, my Karn. That's fine. So I'm gonna put a stop on my opponent's second main phase. We're gonna see what they do with their mana, but like they're gonna do something thinking that they're gonna have access to more mana. The truth is that they are not. Minus and Dryad. Please. Tap down. Yes. Yes. So now I get to resolve Primetime. Sweet. So 2 cards in hand. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. We get to resolve Dryad first, which is nice, I guess. Here's Dryad. Here's a land. Here is Mr. Primeval Titan. And now if they have Solitude, they actually have to Solitude the Dryad, which is very nice. So Slayer Stronghold, Boros Garrison, hit that there, hit that there. And I guess we're hasting. This should be lethal. Alright, good. We got there. Okay, game number 3. That was a very clutch Boseiju. Through the through the Teferi. You love to see it. You love to see it. I think I'm actually gonna have Steve instead of Gracer. The reason for that is so that I can pressure Teferi. I didn't know that my opponent was gonna have Teferi. That deck doesn't always play that card. His hand is very slow, but we have the Cavern, and we kind of have, you have the goods. Cavern on Shaman. Because I already have the Steve in hand, and it's more likely that I find any untapped colorless land than I find exactly a Aurora Gracer. That's very unlucky. Quite unlucky. Quite unlucky. So I guess I want to play around Boseiju. So I think I'm just gonna throw away this Karn the Great Creator, which feels really bad. But if my opponent Boseijus my Growth Chamber, then I just fall super far behind. So okay, so here's Cavern on Dryad. Play my Dryad. Opponent could have, I guess, something like Dress Down to prevent me from making an extra land drop, but that seems fine to me. Seems acceptable. Okay, so they fetch on end step. Probably gonna draw 2 with Archmage's Charm, I assume. Yeah. Which makes sense considering that they saw the cavern, right? But yeah, we have like a bunch of mana. We can start to deploy a bunch of uncounterable threats. So I think we're in okay shape here. Tap land is good for us. So we're gonna name Shaman to play Steve. Go, Steve, go! Good job. Good job, Steve. Alright, so this is looking good for us. This is looking pretty good. Mystic Gate, opponent can start hard casting those Solitudes. Oh. Here's a Cavern on Giant. Do I want to go for haste? I guess I can afford to because I already have another Titan in hand. But actually, if I go for Valakut, it's just better, so never mind. So let's go Valakut Boseiju. Boseiju is an answer to my opponent's potential threat. Always yes, always yield. So now they're gonna take 9 if they want to. So now I'm gonna attack, and I guess that they can kill Primetime with Solitude, and they can chump Dryad. Oh, this is better. Like end step, they just Solitude Primetime, they then attack for 3. Yeah, maybe I should not attacked. Maybe attacking was wrong there. I mean, it doesn't matter. Like they have to answer this. Like if they don't answer this, they're gonna lose to it. So I'm gonna go to 23. More importantly, they go to 6, which is 1 extra trigger. So we're gonna name Beast here, and we're gonna do this thing where we draw very many cards. Just a casual draw 5. Just, you know, just your average draw 5. No big deal. Just your average draw 5. All right, awesome. 3-1. Last round, baby. And jeez, this is an interesting hand. I'm gonna keep it, but boys, this is a spicy one. So we're gonna go turn 1 Saga into Amulet, turn 2 play Steve, play turn 3 Karn. That's the plan. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Opponent moves to 6. So here goes Amulet. Our opponent fetches turn 1. Basic Forest into Growth. Alrighty. Huh. So I can Vesuva my own Saga here. Yeah, I think I'm kind of interested in that. So we get to Vesuva Saga and play another Amulet. And this means that now I can use the other Saga to find the bounce land if I want to. I can also just find Steve. I can just float mana and play Steve next turn and then play Karn. Let's see what my opponent's doing over there. Breeding Pool, Abundant Growth, Rain and 6. Okay. So if I find Primeval Titan, I win. If I find Dryad, Boseiju unfortunately doesn't really do anything for me. So that sucks. But let's get another Amulet. Basic Forest Steve. Crack Steve to find a tap forest. And that's gonna give me Karn mana, funnily enough. Alternatively, I could just make a construct. Nah, Karn's better. So I think I want to plus to play around and Holy Heat, a bunch of other things. So next turn I can get a bounce land, pay 2 mana, get Expedition Map, and then find a bounce land. Bounce land finds bounce land's gonna tap for 6 mana. I can just cast Primeval Titan. I can cast 2 Titans. If I cast 2 Titans, do I lose to double Solitude? I guess we'll see if my opponent taps out. They do. Fairy Time Raveler. I assume they're gonna bounce my Saga. Yeah. It's pretty bad for me, but we have a variety of draws that win the game. That's very funny, actually. So, sideboard. I could Sky Sovereign, or I could Coding. I think I'm gonna go, let's go 4th Amulet, and play Boseiju. And I think we're just gonna Karn for Coding. Metal Coding. The point here is to put pressure on my opponent. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna coding their land so they can't omnath. Alternatively, I could coding one of their planeswalkers, but I think this is just better. So if they tap out to do stuff, the nice thing is that we can punish them on the untap. Abundant Growth. Maybe opponent has Fury though. They don't have Heat. Okay. Minus on Karn. They have a Lightning Bolt. Huh. Okay. So I'm just gonna go after the land here. It's possible they have Counterspell. So I think I'm just gonna chill. They have Snake. Snake doesn't worry me too much. Prismatic Ending. That's a little bit worse for me. Okay. So they could still have access to the Counterspell, which is a little bit awkward. Here's a Dryad. Dryad just resolves. So I can minus for Sky Sovereign. Yeah, it's kind of awkward, but I think I'm gonna minus for Sky Sovereign. I'm gonna kill the Renin 6. Not finding bounce land, like this is all sorts of problematic. All sorts of problematic. Not finding Cavern either. No, we're gonna have to sack Steve. Man, that Teferi bounce ended up being very costly. And again, I'm trying to play around Counterspell specifically here. It's possible I shouldn't be, but because of how my opponent's been playing, it suggests that it's possible that they have it. And if they don't, they've been representing it very well, but okay. So down with Renin 6 and pass the turn. Traverse the Ulven Wall. Okay, so I guess I'm going to assume that they don't have Counterspell anymore because of the Traverse. Boseiju Who Endures. I wonder if that means that they have another Ren. Omnath is very strong. But now they can't hold up Counterspell anymore. So looks like they were just faking it all the time. Which is good. It's a good play from my opponent, obviously. It's definitely a good play. So now I need to draw literally any land at all. I need to draw any land whatsoever. I can pact for Steve, which is like the saddest thing ever. So at this point I assume they don't have. So they have Yorion in hand and Boseiju. I have to pact for Steve, right? This is so bad. Wait, I used both Steves? Well, this is obviously a mistake. This is quite clearly a mistake, so... I mean, now that I did this, I'm gonna play the card, but obviously that was very stupid. Yeah, I totally forgot that. I feel like this game, I did not think that this game had been going for that long. I mean, kind of interesting they just cashed in the Teferi like that. Unless they have another Teferi, obviously. So now we're going to be paying for Pact. Yeah, I threw this away. I threw this away. Should have not been playing around Counterspell all this time, I don't think. I mean, now it's obvious. At the time, I don't think it was obvious. But now that we saw Traverse... Although I guess that Binsh's Bubble kind of... I mean, that's the problem with this deck, right? Like, there's like 7 million different versions of this deck, and they all look sort of the same, but they have a couple of cards that differentiate them. But yeah, so if we find a bounce land, pay for Pact, bounce land, we're 1 mana short, so like we're still not doing the thing. That's rough. Man, not that Steve is... That Steve is brutal. Well, here's that. Ursa Saga. Here we go. But next turn, opponent, though. Next turn. Totally gonna get you. Next turn, I'm totally gonna get you. if there is such a thing as next turn. Fetching and Ren and 6-in and like, getting back Boseiju and yeah. If I had, I think that we would have won this game if I had had perfect information. With perfect info, I think we win this game. Also, the classic not hitting land drops on the god knows how many land deck. That doesn't help either. It's an aggressive use of Boseiju right there. Does that mean they have another one? Cause like, if I top deck a bounce land now, I am kind of in business. Bounce land? Nope. Alright. So Crisis are fine. Island is fine. They're gonna sideboard in Magus of the Moon against me. So Arboreal Grazer's out. At least one Ursa Saga out. And that's it. Okay, so this hand is a trap, so we're gonna ship it. And this hand is very good, so we're gonna keep it. Fairly straightforward. So, do I want to... I think I'm gonna bottom a bounce land, awkwardly enough. So we're gonna go Cavern on Beast here. And the idea here is to play around Prismatic Ending. Puts the Saga into play as well. And I guess next turn what I can do is I can play Amulet off the Cavern. And I can make a construct, at least. So it's a little bit of value. It's not the sickest value I've ever seen, but... Or we can just draw a card and that's also fine. I'm gonna play Cavern on Giant and pass the turn. So we're gonna be able to play Primeval Titan next turn, which is going to allow us to be a little bit ahead. Opponent could also have Dress Down, I guess. If they have Dress Down, that is very much a problem, but I don't think there's anything I can do about that. So it kind of is what it is. So float my mana. We do get to make Primeval Titan uncounterable here, which is nice. But I'm definitely not gonna haste. I'm just gonna transmute for Summoner's Pact. Dress Down would suck again, but c'est la vie. Dress Down also kills my construct for value. Oh, Ice Fang we can actually. To the West, Semi-Growth Chamber. So if they have Magus of the Moon naturally drawn and Solitude naturally drawn, we are probably gonna lose this game. But I think that's a fine thing to lose to. We get to swing in for 3, which is nice. Get in there, construct. Yeah. What do you got, opponent? Fetching for basic, also pretty clear representation that they have access to Magus in their deck. But if they only have Magus, I don't care too much. Because I can just Time Raveler. Yeah, that I don't care at all. Chalice for 0. Guess I should not have 6'd, huh? Should have probably not have 6'd there. Oh. That's fine. Good to know about the Chalice, by the way. Definitely good to know about the Chalice. Maybe we should bring in another Boseiju? I guess Endurance is kind of fine. Just as a beater. This allows me to cut one more Saga. Bring in another Boseiju. And cut a Grazer. Cut a Summoner's Pact. I think I like that better. 81 cards, because 80 is not enough. You love to see it. Okay, well, what does this hand do? It's good against Blood Moon. Chip it. This is better, not by a lot, but it is faster. The only problem this hand has is that if my opponent does have Blood Moon, then if they do have Magus on 3, they're gonna get there before my Saga cracks. Cracks, pop. I don't know how to say that. Also March, right? Chalice is fine. Play that out, say go. And now we just have to dodge, what's his name? Can we please not get Magoost out of the 81 card deck? I'm surprised my opponent would bring in Chalice against me. Like, they saw Karn game 1. They most definitely saw Karn game 1, so... Do I want to coding? No, it's weak to Bolt. It's weak to Bolt and it's weak to what's his name, so... Oh. I guess it was also weak to Ren 6. Who could have thought? Not having access to Ballista, a little bit of an issue here. Ending on the Amulet. So this means we're gonna get some value from Karn, which is nice. Traverse for basic. Asusa is a very nice draw. Snowy kind of Asusa. Dress down. Gross. Okay. That kind of sucks. So plus on nothing. Say go. The dress down is such a messed up card. Such a sleeper too. That's probably my favorite part. My favorite thing about dress down is how much of a sleeper it was. Nobody could have foreseen how impactful that card was going to be in basically every format that it's legally in, except Vintage, obviously. But it's a modern staple, very, very good in Legacy as well. Just does so much. Speaking of cards that do a lot. Right here. Speaking of cards that do a lot. It's a lot of stuff. Opponent's doing a lot of stuff over there. Lots of stuff is being done. So I think I'm going to go for Dryad here because it poses much more of a threat. Like my opponent kind of has to answer the Dryad somehow. Missing land drops yet again though. No blocks. So they get to Yorion here. And I assume that's gonna mean that they're gonna find Solitude. Which is bad for me. Second Teferi. Instead of Yorion? Oh, just so they can hold up Solitude. Okay. I'm sure I agree with that play, but 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I think we're just gonna play Crazes here. Very sad to draw one. Very, very sad to draw one. So am I at a point where I need to get lucky? I think so. I think that if I don't find Amulet, I can't win the game. Like I'm too far behind. My opponent's gonna get back. They're gonna Yorion next turn. So I think because of that, we're just going to play. I'm just gonna play Cavern instead of playing the bounce land, because this allows me to hold the bounce land in hand, and next turn I can go Amulet into do many things. Because like just one thing is not gonna be enough. I'm gonna need to do many things next turn. I can't just play out Primeval Titan and hope that it's gonna be enough. Play Steam Vents, Shock, put Yorion in hand. 4 mana. Amulet? Cavernous. So let's say we play Primeval Titan here. Let's say we play Asusa. Play Asusa, 3 mana. 1, 2, 3. So I'm 1 mana short, so I can't do that. So it needs to be prime time. And I'm setting up. I think I'm setting up Valakut for next turn. Don't have a ways to gain life, so I'm just gonna set up Valakut here. And we're just gonna hope that my opponent does not have removal. But I think that's the only way that I can win this game. So now we get to block. Technically, I'm not dead. 4 mana. If these are a War Bounce my prime time, I am actually dead. It is. Alright, so we lose. Brutal. Brutal, brutal, brutal. So many land drops missed. The saddest way to go. Okay. We didn't really get to do too much with this, which is part of why I don't like the card. The fact that it enters tapped is a pretty significant downside. Like it would have been good if it didn't enter tapped, but it does. Like I feel like this card just has too many minuscule downsides that all of them just add up to it not being good. The card is just not playable. Which is, it's very close. I feel like if it entered untapped, it could be okay. If it could be activated as an instant speed, it could be okay. But like the fact that it has all of those downsides means that even though the card is very, very tempting, like it really looks interesting in what it does, and it does something very unique, I feel like it just doesn't make the cut. It just unfortunately is not good enough to put in your Karn sideboard. And that's kind of exactly what I thought it was gonna be. and when we actually saw it in play against the collected company deck, like those downsides came exactly into play, and we could not win because of those small downsides that it had. Also, we couldn't win because we missed a gazillion land drops in this league, but that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. Karn Amulet is fine though. If you're in the business of casting some primeval titans, casting Karns is a very serviceable thing to do. It is, however, Murktide is a problem. Murktide being as popular as it is, we did not face it in this league, fortunately, but with Murktide being as popular as it is, I'm not sure that you can really play Karn right now, even though I do think it's good, but it is just too much of the metagame, unfortunately. And in the past, my thought process was like, okay, so I am sacrificing the Murktide matchup, and what that does is it gives me percentage points in a variety of other matchups that I may face, like for example against Belcher or against some combo decks here and there or stuff like that. But it turns out that Murktide is just not dodgeable in a competitive event. Like you're just gonna play against Murktide, and you are like a little bit too much of a dog against Murktide with this deck. So a little bit unfortunate. So for the foreseeable future, at least until something changes in the metagame, I'm probably going to be playing some Scapeshift version or something like that, but something without Karn for now. We'll see how things evolve, but yeah, that's going to be it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and check out the description of the video for a variety of different ways that you can support the content, and have a fantastic rest of your day. See you later. Bye-bye.